The WHAS 11 night team is getting answers about the large number of resignations from the Lebanon Junction Fire Department after a tense city council meeting last week. The reality tonight, they are learning to operate without a chief, deputy chief, and nearly half of the firefighter roster. The mayor says residents are still safe. WHAS 11 night team's Tom Lally asked the question, why did they leave?
When there's an emergency in Lebanon Junction, the pool of 33 firefighters who would respond are volunteers. Now, that number is dwindling.
I've never gained anything by getting mad, jumping out and running and quitting.
We did not turn our back on Lebanon Junction. If that was the case, we would not still be sitting here fighting for the truth to be told.
The interim chief tells us there are 18 active members, while the mayor says there are 25.
It's a scare tactic that is just shameful that it went through the city as it did.
On Thursday, Mayor Larry Dangerfield received resignations from the fire chief and several others, including now former Assistant Chief William Brown.
This all could have been avoided. There could still be 33 members down there.
The resignations cite poor standards of the city's governing body, which likely alludes to their training requirements. In two recent council meetings, the mayor and council members criticized the fire department's standard operating procedure, specifically the requirement of 3 training days per quarter. Multiple volunteers, including the police chief, who's also a firefighter, did not meet the requirement. So the former leadership limited their duties.
Chief Terry Phillips had 0 training hours. He has not attended or had a training entered into the State Fire Commission's website since October of 2020.
The former assistant chief tells me he would be responsible and could face penalizations, so he had to resign. While the mayor says these requirements are taking the volunteer out of volunteer firefighter.
Is that problem worth it? Did you want to be fireman to start with? What is that problem worth giving up and putting Lebanon Junction in this kind of strenuous situation?
Tonight, the Lebanon Junction mayor met with members of the fire department here at the station to talk about staffing and announce the new interim chief. I talked with that new interim chief, Steve Gohagan. Though he declined an interview, he says the change has not been ideal, but they are getting new applicants and are still able to perform training. Though how much training will be completed is still up for debate in Lebanon Junction. Tom Lally, the WHAS 11 night team, on your side.